I salute, salute. Damn, what up?
What's going on?
You got it's 9 albums they dropped already.
Mm-hmm.
It's from Juvenile Hell to Infinite. That's 9. Damn.
Yep. And
Wow.
then they got a couple like compilation albums.
Now we don't need to
Um,
do those. Just like the full albums
yeah.
because they had like a lot of mixtapes and like
Yeah.
EPs and stuff. So I didn't want to include them.
Yep.
But I
I
mean,
just
like
did the albums.
we can always do like a second part where we do like the mixtapes and then the EPs and stuff.
Yep.
But I just
Yep.
want to do like the whole discography of their albums. I didn't know it was like 9 albums already. Damn, it seemed like they
Yeah,
had
man.
more albums than that.
Yeah, not nine albums.
Hmm.
And yeah, man, I really have them as the way it worked out is just kind of like I have three albums that are like my top tier
Right.
Mobb Deep albums, and then I have three that are solid. So
Hmm.
I have six albums that are like,
Okay.
solid albums, and then I kind of have a bottom three, but I kind of put it into my
Right.
three top, my three middle, and then my three bottom.
Okay. All right. Well then, all right. But bet. So then let's go. Let's go with
Mm.
the like from Juvenile Hell to Infinite, and we'll just rank it like that.
Let's go. Let's go.
Mhm.
No, let's go how you were saying. Let's just go worst to first.
All right. Well,
Um,
for me, okay. Well, for me, worst. The first worst one for me was Juvenile Hell. That was '93 when they came out. Their debut album, and they had Prodigy and Havoc. Rest in
mhm,
peace to Prodigy, one of the best MCs ever.
mhm.
And for that first album, they had Hit It From the Back, and I forgot the name of the other joint that they had out that I think Lost Professor had, Primo had did a remix with. Had Forgot
Me
the
and
name
my
of it. But
crew.
yeah, me and my
Uh,
nah, it was another one. It was another joint.
Peer pressure.
Peer Pressure. Yeah, that was
I
released as a single.
Yeah.
Um, Me and my crew was cool, but it was like early mob, and they were just getting their feet wet in the industry. They didn't hit they peak just yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for me, like out of like all of their albums, that to me was like their worst one. Even though I don't feel like it was a whack album, but it's the
Okay.
least my least favorite where like I can play the other albums more than Juvenile Hell. So that would be like
Okay.
on my bottom tier would be
Yep.
Juvenile Hell.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also have it in my bottom tier. I don't have it as my least favorite.
Mhm.
I have it as I have it ranked seventh out of nine.
Okay.
So um and the songs that I mentioned are the ones that I
Mhm.
really like. Me and my crew, peer
Yeah.
pressure, stomp 'em out, and Project Hallways. Um
So
I believe, yeah, Project Hallways is my favorite track from that album.
uh
Um, and just kind of like you were saying, they were still developing. They had that. I mean, they still have that gritty sound, up
yeah,
until their last album. But this was really, really gritty.
yeah, fact.
Like, so they were still figuring it out, like you said.
Yeah,
But for me, it's in that bottom tier, but it's not my
yeah.
least favorite. You want me to say my least favorite then, or
Yeah,
do you want to do
your next
your
one? Yeah, like
ranking?
we do like the like from worst to first, like oh yeah, you do your
Okay,
next one.
okay, cool. All right, so my least favorite album from them is
Mhm.
America's Nightmare.
Mm, okay.
That's that's my least favorite, actually, kind of by far.
Uh-huh.
Um, there were only a couple joints on that album that I liked, and I actually found it really interesting because
Mhm.
it was like it wasn't like they started off and their first three albums were like their best albums, and then they
Right,
fell off for a little bit, and then
right.
they came back. It was kind of random with which albums were fire and which ones weren't for me.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
anyways, I got America's Nightmare as my worst Mobb Deep album, but
Mhm.
I have my favorite song from that album is Win or Lose.
I love that.
Um,
Love that. That's
yeah,
my
it's a
favorite on the
great
album.
song. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great song. But that's about it. All the other
Mhm.
ones are just didn't quite do it for me. So that's my least favorite.
So my second least favorite would be the infamous Mobb Deep album. This came out in what was that, 2014, I think it was.
Okay.
And they didn't have Havoc do the production. Well, they Havoc did a couple joints, and Alchemist I think like did like one or two joints. It had more of like an assorted cast of producers. Illmind was on that project, and other producers, and it really wasn't no big singles off of this album. And I remember when the album first came out, like it had like the double CD. We had like the bonus CD with the demos
Yeah.
from their early work from the infamous album and all
Yeah.
that. And I liked a couple songs. Taking You Off of Here was dope. Timeless, All a Dream with the Locks.
Yep.
But it wasn't a great standout album. And that was like, I think they were breaking up at that point, or it was like they announced that was gonna be their final album, whatever.
Okay.
And I remember hearing it like twice, and that was it. I didn't play anything off of here, So that would be like my second least favorite after Juvenile Health.
Okay. Um, I'll save my comments for later because I have it ranked higher. I agree.
Okay.
Timeless is my favorite track off of it.
Right.
Um, uh, when you did the ranking, did you
Uh-huh.
just rank the first CD or were you kind of counting both the
Well,
CDs?
yeah, we going from worst to first. I'm ranking
No, no,
like
no. For that one, were you counting it as like a double CD for the
no,
infamous?
no, no. Well, it's just well, it's just it's a new album, but I mean, like I don't think it was. I think that was like a limited edition where you get the bonus
Mhm.
CD, and the bonus CD had like the demos from the infamous and
Right.
all that. But it's
Yeah.
it's not a double album. It's like a regular
Okay.
album. It's just that it had the bonus CD with the stuff with the tracks on it.
Right, right. Yeah, cuz I just listened to that for the first time
Hmm.
just recently and I thought disc 1
Yeah,
yeah, disc 1 was
this one was
better.
uh
And I still like this too.
hmm
But and it was cool cuz it was very different, but I'll save my mine for later because I have it ranked higher. But I did have a question actually.
Yeah.
For these albums, did you listen to them like as they came out?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I was there for Juvenile Hell when that dropped, and of course the infamous and Hell on Earth. Every album, and I've seen them
Hmm.
live. I saw them live when Murder Music came out, like in
Okay.
'99. I saw them that summer.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So it's kind of cool getting two perspectives on it from
Hmm.
from you where you listen to these all when they came out and
Yeah.
me where I had heard obviously
Hmm.
their big albums and their big hits
Right.
I'd heard before but it wasn't until recently that I really went and I listened front to back all their
Right.
albums.
Yeah.
So different perspective. So my second least favorite album
Uh-huh.
is Blood Money.
Yes.
um
Okay. For
that's
his social media said he said Mob had three first albums was good, not with Unit. A lot of people feel like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying though, is like
Mhm.
uh you could say that, but then we were just saying how their first album is actually one of their worst albums.
Right.
So
I agree.
so and then I mean I don't want to spoil anything later, so we can talk
Uh-huh.
about it later, but I get what he's saying, but I kind of
Right.
disagree with that a little bit. So the it was really funny because I remember you telling me about this album and saying
Hmm.
like you can really just hear the influence from
Okay.
from
Unit
50 and
50.
just the whole
Yeah.
crew
Uh-huh.
on it.
Hmm.
And it was funny because you know I when I was listening to it, that's all I could think of. You know, I was like, this doesn't even sound like a Mobb Deep album. This,
Right,
you know,
right.
it sounds different, and that wasn't a bad thing. If the music's good, I'm gonna like
Mhm.
it. So that like if it was an enjoyable album, I would have ranked it high. But it just for me, it wasn't that enjoyable of an album for me. I had "Speaking So Freely" as my favorite
Uh,
track from that one.
right.
But just overall, um, just kind of a lot of misses for me,
Mhm.
and that's my second least favorite. Yeah.
Okay. My third least favorite is America's Nightmare. I like the album
Hmm.
as a whole. It was like a couple songs I didn't care for, but I think
Hmm.
the good outweighed the bad for that album. You know, when you had joints like "Got It Twisted" was the first single, and you had "Win or Lose," and you know, what's the other joint? "One of Ours." You had "Throw Your Hands in the Air," produced by Kanye West.
Hmm.
"Flood the Block" was fire. The Dump joint with Nate Dogg, rest in peace of Nate Dogg, that was fire. I think
Yeah.
there was two songs I didn't care for. The song with Little John, "Real
Yeah.
Niggas," and was it when you hear those two songs I didn't care for.
It was kind of
But
weird. Like
yeah,
I thought it was kind of weird to have Lil Jon on there. They were
mhm,
all over the place to have like Nate Dogg and Lil Jon on the same album, and like you could obviously pull that off, but
right,
I felt like they didn't. And I was when I saw Nate Dogg featured, I was like,
mhm,
oh man, this is gonna be a fire track. And then I was kind of let down by it. I think the beat just didn't quite do it for me.
right.
Um, but yeah, yeah.
I think I would give okay, Juvenile Hell I would give like two mics.
Hmm.
Uh Infamous Mob Deep I would give two mics. This album I would give three mics because it was a dope album. It's just that certain songs I didn't care for, but
Okay.
overall, I think there was more good tracks on this album than bad. So I would give that three mics. So that would be like my
Okay.
third least favorite.
Okay.
Yeah,
We already went over my third least favorite. That
mhm,
it was your least favorite, Juvenile Hell. So
right,
we both had that. So we both had Juvenile Hell and America's Nightmare as in our bottom three.
right,
So that just kind of shows that those albums, were
right,
subpar.
right.
Um, and
But
we had them.
I
Yeah,
can't like be like within those three albums. I do feel like America's Nightmare is the better one out of those three
yeah,
because they had to me had more banging tracks on there compared to Juvenile Hell and Infamous Mob Deep.
yeah. For me, it's the opposite. I
Right.
liked Juvenile Hell a
You
little
like
bit
Juvenile Hell
more.
more? Okay.
Uh, but I definitely get where you're coming from. Just for me personally,
Right.
um, basically all the songs fell flat except for Win or Lose and maybe one or two
Mhm.
others on
So you
America's
really
Nightmare.
didn't like America's Nightmare then?
That was by far my least favorite album.
Okay.
All the other ones, like I said, I have kind of the three tiers. So
Hmm.
after Juvenile Hell, now we're
Hmm.
gonna get into 4, 5, 6, which is
Right.
kind of the middle tier. And
Middle tier.
I would say these are all solid. These are all pretty solid albums for
Right.
for me.
Okay. Um, the fourth one, Blood Money, like 400 Circle Media said, he said, I'm saying that G Unit Mob Deep was not them. It sounded more like 50. I've been saying that even
Yeah,
when Blood Money came out in, what was that, '06 that came out? Oh
yeah.
six.
That's what I was just saying, right?
Right. But
Yeah,
I do feel like there was some good songs on there. Like you had,
there were.
Creep. I love Creep. Pearly
Yeah,
Gates. That was the controversial track because, Prodigy was saying things about Jesus and people were in an uproar and I think he had to like change up his verse at one point.
okay.
But Pearly Gates was fire. You had It's All Right with Mary J. Blige and
I like
50
that
Cent was
one.
on
I
it.
like that one.
Love that song. Alchemist produced that. You had the Infamous, which was also a single. Alchemist produced that. That was
Okay.
fire. So there was some joints. That my issue was it mob from Mob Deep, they have their own following, they had their own movement, and
Hmm.
when they became free agents, and they signed with G Unit. It's like they were under that G Unit umbrella and the sound. So when you hear that
Yep.
album, it don't sound like a Mobb Deep album. It sounded more like a 50
Yep.
Cent G Unit album.
100%.
Right.
100%. Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that, and
Mhm.
I had it ranked low as well. So we're kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
For our ranking so far.
Right.
So
But
it's good to
it's
see.
not, and then it was like they had the whole G Unit on there. They did stuff with Banks on there,
Yep.
and 50 was all over that album, and Young Buck, and it just sounded like a G Unit slash Mobb Deep album, and it should have just been a Mobb Deep album.
Yeah.
But I like again, I still like it. It just when you hear it, it just reminded you of that G Unit era when it was all about G Unit and 50 Cent, and they sounded that was like their G Unit album. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to me, it's a
Totally.
banging album. There was some joints on it. It just sounded it had too much 50 influence on there. You know what I'm saying? But I would give it 3.5 mics. I think
Okay.
it's still a good album.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't obviously I had it ranked a little lower than that.
Mhm.
But I do agree that the there were a lot of tracks on there that I would put on. Like you said, Creep, Speaking So Freely, Give
Right.
It to Me, Pearly Gates, uh Daydreamin', It's
Mhm.
All Right, Have a Party, that one also with Nate Dogg.
That was fire too. Yeah, that was dope.
And then the last track, the Out of Control remix
Yes,
was
the
good
remix. I
too.
forgot about that. Yeah, that was also on the Massacre.
Okay,
Yeah, the
so
remix. To that.
yeah, so that we already went over that one for me. That was my uh, second to least favorite, and that was your fourth to least favorite. So
Yes,
now we're
we're
going to get
we're getting up into
into some.
the great albums now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So, well, that was your sixth at
yeah.
that was your sixth. So now we're gonna get to my sixth,
Okay.
which
Okay.
is Infamy.
Okay.
Um, and you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and give you the two albums because I could really interchange these two.
Mhm.
And that's Infamy and Hell on Earth. I
Okay.
could really interchange those two.
Really? So you feel like Infamy is that good at like Hell on Earth?
I wouldn't say Infamy's that good. I just
Mhm.
wasn't as big. I think Hell on Earth was a big uh I think it was a pretty big fall off from
Really?
the Infamous for me. Yeah.
Wow. I never heard
Um
nobody say that.
yeah, I think that I mean, obviously the Infamous is, legendary, iconic,
Uh,
and I think that just the follow up to it was it was just all right.
mhm. Wow.
The title track, Hell on Earth Frontlines, it's one of my favorite songs from
Right.
them.
Mhm.
It's one of their best songs, but that doesn't make it a classic album. That
Mhm.
makes it that makes it a classic song, and that makes
Wow.
it a great song and a great song. But as looking at it as an album as a whole,
Mhm.
it didn't stand
I,
up.
I this is the first time in 29 years that I've heard anybody say that Hell Enough is not a great album. I've never heard nobody say that until now.
Yeah, it's in my middle three. I could interchange it with Infamy.
Wow.
I actually and I'm not saying it's a bad album. I'm not saying it's a
Um,
bad album. I'm saying it's a good album, not a great
right.
album. And also you have to remember with me, like with Mobb Deep, for me, like Mobb Deep isn't my like typical go-to artist that I would listen to,
Right.
like
Right. Right.
I that's so my rankings are a little bit maybe harsher than
Mhm.
someone who's really into them.
Right.
And it's just all around different. But yeah, I got
Well,
Hell on Earth and Infamy are, I would say, interchangeable for 5 and 6 on my list.
bro, when people watch this, I know they're going to be commenting on that because I've never heard nobody say it was just okay. But I
Yeah,
understand. I respect your opinion and I understand. This is why I love doing these type of discussions
yeah.
because everybody's gonna have different opinions on stuff.
I,
I'm not saying
I,
that. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say again, like, I feel like I could be totally wrong, but I feel like because of Hell on Earth, that track, that single track that is so good, people
Mhm.
might have it in their heads that the whole album is that good, and it's just not. Like that song's a 10 out of 10,
Wow.
but uh, let me see. Let me pull it
Well,
up
what
and
about
see.
the rest? I mean, okay, so when you hear the album, you
Okay.
you feel like only the title track was good. So you didn't feel like Still Shining was great or um uh, Extortion or God Part 3.
Um, didn't wasn't the God Part 3 the remix that you sent in one of
No, that
the
was no. That was the version I sent you was the remix from DJ Mighty Mai, but the actual
right?
yeah, the original joint is not the remix though.
No. I know. I like the remix way more than the original.
Wow. Okay.
Yep, I like the remix
That
more than
was
the
the one that
original.
they he sampled the Phantasm theme song.
Yeah, it was sick. It
Yeah.
was
So
sick.
you like the
I
remix more
love
than the
it.
right.
Yeah, I like the remix more. I think really for me, it comes down to they're pretty consistent with their lyrics and their flow and everything. So
Mm,
really, with these like 1 through 6 here, I think it does kind of come down to the beats,
right.
and um, that's where I felt like it was lacking.
Uh,
I'm gonna be honest here. The only two tracks on the album that I really like are Hell on Earth with, like I said, 10 out of 10,
right.
and Give It Up Fast with Nas and Big
Wow.
Noid.
Wow.
Everything else, um, good. I would say good. I'm not gonna say I don't like it. I would say
Uh,
good, not like not blowing me away. Also, probably what I definitely would had a factor is I listened to all these albums in order.
uh,
So I listened to this one right after the Infamous, and I was riding real high off the Infamous, um and it just this one was a little bit of a letdown, not gonna lie. Especially because I always hear it grouped up there as, oh, like this has got to be their second best album, and I always hear that, so I had high expectations, and I was
it,
a little bit let down.
you know what it
Not
is? I'm
yeah,
gonna tell you. Many years later now, it's become like the whole debate, like with Nas first two albums, like now people say it was written as better than Illmatic. When
yeah,
Illmatic came out, and even when in '96 when it was written came out, nobody was saying it was better than Illmatic at that time. Now they are,
right,
and I
yeah.
think now I'm seeing that same debate with Infamous and Hell on Earth, and people feel like Hell on Earth was better.
Hmm, hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Very
So
interesting.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
people that feel like it's better than Infamous. I feel like it was a great album. I don't know if I would say it's better than Infamous.
yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously you know where I stand on it, but I'm the opposite with Nas. I've thought from the beginning that it was written was is a better album
Than
than
Illmatic.
Illmatic. And again, I wasn't like, I was 1 year, or no, I wasn't even born when Illmatic came out.
Right.
So um I'm
So,
I'm listening to these albums for the first time after they've
um,
already been out for 10, 15 years.
right. So this,
So
all
it's
right. So
different.
you have Hell on Earth is like your fifth. This is your fifth one, right? Your fifth ranking.
um yeah, so I had Infamy as 6 and Hell on
Oh,
Earth as 5.
right.
But like I said, they could kind of be interchanged for me.
All right. So all right. So this is my all right. So this is my okay. So I had Juvenile Hell, Infamous, Mobb Deep,
Yeah.
America's Nightmare, and then Blood Money. All right. So this is my fifth one. My fifth least favorite
Yeah.
is Infamy. Infamy was dope It's a dope album.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna
we
tell
got
you.
that the same. We got that the same.
All right, so that's your fifth. That's your fifth on ranking.
Yeah, fifth. I think at this point maybe we can switch over and just say, all right, this is our sixth favorite.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm
right, right,
saying? So
right.
so this is our sixth favorite. Our sixth favorite now is Infamy. Both of us have Infamy as our sixth favorite.
Infamy was a good album. It was dope, but I do feel like at that time when Jay was battling, Nas and Prodigy, I felt like Prodigy took a step back. Like there was something going on with them when you hear that album, because I like out of all the Mobb Deep albums, I felt like Havoc really outshined them lyrically on that album. And
Mm.
I've never felt that way about a Mobb Deep album when it came to Havoc and Prodigy lyrically. But you could tell that Jay-Z battle got to Prodigy. Like he wasn't the same Prodigy that we knew. Even when you hear like H&RC, that was 2000, right? He was in his bag
Mm-hmm.
on that album. We get to 2001 and Infamy drops, and to me he didn't sound the same like he did on H&RC or the previous Mobb Deep albums. And I felt like for that point in time, I think Jay-Z got to him. You know what I'm saying? And even the battle track when they had the crawling song, that wasn't a great Jay-Z diss song, because they came harder on Drop a Gem for Tupac. And when I'm hearing crawling, I'm like, this is the shit that y'all got for Jay. This is not beating Takeover. You know what I'm saying? So I just was like, it was okay, but that should have been like anything, a teaser to the real, like a prelude to their real diss song for Jay, and they didn't do that. But it was a good
Okay.
album. Like, Alchemist was on that. He did a couple joints. Havoc
Yep.
was still in his bag on production. And you had, the big songs, The Learning. That was fire. You had the Hate Love joint with 112. Some people like it, some people didn't like it.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
I actually have that as my favorite track from it.
right.
It was either between that or I I love Get at Me.
Yeah.
I love Live Foul.
Salute,
Um,
salute.
it's the same on Hell on Earth, where almost the whole album I like. I think is nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Almost the whole album I like, but just don't love. And then there's a few tracks that I love. So that's not that's not
Getaway. I forgot about Getaway. Getaway was a huge song on the album. That was fire. So to me, it's
yeah
a good album. Again, I don't
yeah
feel like it's classic like their
yeah
previous stuff. I think it's
yeah
right in the middle, right in the middle.
yep
You know what I'm
yep
saying?
we
But
agree on
I'm
that.
not even gonna say this is the album to me where we come out of the least favorite and we get to the classic stuff.
Right
You know what I'm saying?
right
So Infamy, I would give Infamy like 4 mics. I think it was a strong album. I didn't like the diss song for Jay. And lyrically, like I said, like I think Prodigy he didn't sound like himself on that album. Like to me, like and this is no shade to Havoc. I love Havoc, but when you listen to a Mobb Deep album and Havoc is the highlight lyrically over Prodigy, that's saying a lot.
right
You know what I'm
right
saying? So I feel like that, and to me, that's like really the only Mobb Deep album where I feel like Havoc outshine Prodigy on a lot of the songs lyrically.
okay
You know what I'm saying? Like his
okay
production was fire, but lyrically, I never felt like that for a Mobb Deep album until you hear Infamy and I'm hearing Prodigy. I'm like, he don't sound like himself on this album. Maybe he was going through personal things, but just listening to him, I'm like, yo, this is not the Prodigy that I heard on Murder Music and Hell on Earth and Infamous Mobb Deep. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like it was a good album, but I felt like it was more Havoc that was like the star of this album compared to
okay
Prodigy. Now, 16 Ball
okay
salutes him. He says it's the weakest album to this point in their discography. I disagree. I feel like it is a dope album. I don't feel like it gets the credit like their previous albums, but it's a strong album to me compared to a lot of their latter stuff. It's a better album to me than Blood Money. It's better than America's Nightmare. The infamous Mobb Deep album from 2014. To me, Infamy is better than all those albums.
yep their debut yep
Right.
Yeah.
He said they focused too much energy on Hov. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like you know, I don't know if they focused too much on the Jay-Z battle, but you could tell it affected Prodigy. Like it didn't affect Havoc. He didn't mention Havoc name. You know what I'm saying? But you know, naturally, that's Havoc's boy. You're gonna be by his side. But to me, Havoc lyrically shined more than Prodigy, and his production was great on this album. It doesn't get a lot of praise like the previous albums.
So why did Jay come at Prodigy and not Havoc?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know why he didn't mention Havoc. He mentioned Prodigy and I don't know. And I've never really heard Prodigy. I never really heard Havoc talk about it though.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying? But like now but you know, of course he was on the diss song with Prodigy when you listen to Crawling, it's Mobb Deep going at Jay. But I don't remember seeing Havoc in any interviews talking about their beef with Jay and why Jay didn't call Havoc out. He called Prodigy out. So he, you know what I'm saying?
Well, was it more just like was it real dissing, or was it more just like, yo, I'm the king of New York, like that kind of thing?
Well, I mean, Summer Jam 2001, he came out on stage. He did the Takeover song, first time ever anybody heard it, and he had ballerina pictures of Prodigy on the big screen.
Okay,
right?
Did he also have like Nas and other people, or was it just Prodigy?
Well, he dissed Nas on the song too. It was Nas and Prodigy was going at. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that was the Summer Jam that Michael Jackson came out on stage with him.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, basically, taking a shot at Prodigy was taking a shot at Mobb Deep. It was like
16 said Prodigy was the one who called Jay for not responding to Tupac and Death Row. He had a point. He had a point though. I've been saying there was a lot of East Coast artists that was afraid of Tupac. You know what I'm saying? And it was Mobb Deep and CNN that went at him. Where was Nas at? Nas didn't go at Pac. He was praising him. Jay ain't say nothing. He was he sampled his song, the Me and My Girlfriend drink for Bonnie and Clyde. That shit.
Yeah.
So it's not like you know, Prodigy was lying. Like there was a lot of cats here that was afraid of Pac. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
true.
I mean, but still, it's like but he had to have known, like, yo, if you call Prodigy out, you know Havoc is gonna be by his boy's side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's his brother.
The same with when Pac called out Mobb Deep, they both went at him.
Yeah.
You know. Salute to Nick. Nick said it was also because Jay-Z after the fact made that disc ball where he said Snoop came through and Crystal was right. That was in the Dog Pound New York video. Yeah. I agree. You know. So so I would give Infamy 4 mics. I think it's a solid album. It's just, to me, probably the most underrated Mobb Deep album in their discography that people don't put it on top tier with their classics though.
And now that I'm getting this backstory, it sounds like maybe it was overshadowed by the beef.
By the beef, right? Exactly.
You know,
and also because you know, 2001, we had the most tragic event in American history on 9/11. 9/11 on that day, the Blueprint came out, and people still went to the store and buy it on the most tragic day in this country.
Right.
No, they didn't run to get Fabulous first album. They ran to get the Blueprint.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So 2001, there was a lot of albums I felt like that were overshadowed because of the tragic events and you know, people were still recovering from that. You know, but yeah, like I would say it got overshadowed because of the beef. You know what I'm saying? Because of it, definitely because of that whole beef.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I'm just looking at the release date now. So so it came out in December of 2001. So you know,
remember at that time too, like they don't really do it anymore. But at that time, you know, like a lot of the companies were like saving the big album releases for towards the holidays, because that's when the people are gonna go out and they're gonna spend the most money. Or if you're gonna shop online, you're gonna buy the new album on Amazon. So they were releasing like the bigger name albums like Mobb Deep, like Missy Elliott, you know, Jay-Z towards the holiday season.
And people were probably still riding so high off
Yeah.
Jay-Z.
Yes.
And if you know, just hearing about this information for the first time now,
Mhm.
what comes to my mind is if they had like one track on here
Mhm.
that was like one of their best tracks and like there was a Jay-Z diss in there, I think people would hold this album as one of their best albums simply for that fact. But since their diss track back at Jay-Z didn't hit
Mhm.
as hard as they wanted to, it, you know, it is probably a big reason why it gets overlooked and
I don't
overshadowed.
think, yeah, but I don't think a diss song should make an album. You know, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like if you have you know, how many tracks was on here? Like
I don't think
16,
so
17
either,
tracks?
but I'm just saying at like for the masses, I'm saying for the mass audience, if there was a track that just brought the house down that was like, whoa, did you just hear what these guys said? I think as a whole, it would just have a stigma and an aura about it
Right.
that would have changed it. That's just my feeling. I could be wrong, but that's just the
Now,
feeling I'm getting
on
when
the
I'm
flip
hearing it.
side, now, when you have a one of the best diss tracks in my opinion of all time, Second Round Knockout, when that
Mhm.
makes Cannabis album, that's pretty much the album right there. Because
Right.
when you hear the rest of the album, it wasn't that great, except for like maybe couple other songs. But it was like after that, this song comes out against LL, everybody they wanted to hear more from Cannabis. But
Mm.
for me, the album disappointed on his first debut album. You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel like a diss record should make or break the album. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we were expecting them to do something at Jay. But for me, it was when you in hindsight, when you hear Nas come out with Ether, it feels in comparison to Ether. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, like when you hear Drop a Gem on them, like they went hard at Tupac. Why didn't they give that same energy to Jay-Z?
Mm.
You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Or at least Prodigy. Like if Havoc don't want to do it, cool. You sit this one out. Prodigy, he can handle Jay. Maybe should have been a Prodigy solo track instead.
Mm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I just felt
Yeah.
like that wasn't the diss song for Jay. Like Jay obliterated you, Mobb Deep and Nas with the takeover, and this is what you give us crawling. That should have been a prelude
Yeah.
to the bigger song, and they didn't
Yeah.
do that.
Right. Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
they might have had another song, and maybe the record label said, "Don't put that one out. We're gonna leave that on release or whatever." So there might be another
Mm,
song that they have against Jay that we just never heard. But for me, I
mm,
feel like if you coming out with Infamy and we know you're gonna attack Jay, it gotta be something big.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because at that time when they come out with the first single Hey Love with 112, a lot of people didn't like it. They were like, what is this? They going on B now? Y'all doing some MTV shit?
Yeah. Yeah. And
You know
like I
what I'm
said,
saying?
I really enjoyed it. And um, like I just, you know, my first time listening to this album through was, you know, just like a few weeks, a month ago. So I'm hearing it with fresh ears, with no knowledge of the events that were going on at the time. But you know, between them and Jay, so I was just hearing it as just I was just hearing the music that, you know, and it's interesting that we both have it ranked in the same position. So I think
Right.
that's pretty cool.
Because like again, like when you look at their whole discography, I feel like it's their most underrated because of the their previous success with their previous three albums. This one
Hmm.
comes out and it's 2001. It's at the end of the year.
Hmm.
They dropped the first single, which a lot of people didn't care for 112. You know, you're gonna we know you're gonna say something about Jay, but that wasn't it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it was like when you look at the rest of the albums after Infamy, it's like, oh shit, well this is way better than their latter shit. You know what I'm saying? So for me, this to me is like their most underrated album in their discography. That's why I feel like after we get past the lesser good albums, we get to Infamy, and
Yeah.
that's like the bridge
Yep.
going forward to their classic stuff.
Yep. I'm in
This is like
agreement
their
with you.
yellow brick road to see Oz. They're on the yellow brick road with Infamy. They're going to see Oz with their classic stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying they're in Munchkin Land right now?
There ain't much. There was in the Wicked Witch part of town with those latter albums. They
And they
found
were
their way
just
with They made their way on the yellow brick road to see Oz with their classic stuff.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nick. Nick said also people forget Jay-Z did make a diss track towards Tupac where he murdered him that was never released due to Pac's death. I never heard. If I heard it, I don't remember the song. I don't think I ever heard the Tupac diss.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like they might have been artists at that time that they made their rebuttal to Pac, but the record label didn't put it out, or maybe their management team said, he just died. Let's not put it out at all anymore. It would be kind of distasteful. So I could see that happening. So maybe Jay had a diss song, and I just never heard it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
We're
Shout out to Nick.
on your fifth. We're on your fifth pick.
I just want to say shout out to Nick. We got a new podcast every Friday night. It's called Unfuckable Opinions. And it's every Friday night at 9 p.m. Check us out. We got merch that we selling, t-shirts, hoodies, all that good stuff. The culture. Just we're gonna be talking about music, movies, fashion. We did a video game stream last night that was great, and we're gonna have a guest on with us, and you're welcome to join because you're an artist as well.
Yeah, dope.
You know what I'm saying? And hey, promote your album. You got a new album that just dropped.
Yeah, man. It just dropped yesterday. My new album. I'm stoked, man. It's I mean, it was exhausting. It's an exhausting process putting it out, just especially when you're completely independent, like just doing it all myself. And I'm really proud of the final product. And I hope it just gets to as many ears as possible. And the feedback that I've heard has all been really, really positive so far. So it makes me feel like rewarded that, all this time and effort that was spent with it and people, and it's all about getting that message and having that message being received by the people listening. And I feel like it's doing that very well. So I'm really happy with it, and I'm happy that people are connecting with it. And yes, it's called Connected Infinity, Mojo Flows. You can listen to it anywhere you get your music. It's a concept album. It's only about 35 minutes. So when you have the time, just pop on some headphones, give it a listen, and enjoy.
And follow him on Instagram too.
Yeah, I'll hit you back on Instagram. If you give me a follow, I'll follow you back for sure.
Now, I'm seeing some people in the comments saying Takeover is better than Ether. I'm seeing people saying Ether is better than Takeover. I feel like they both were classic top three. I would say top three diss songs all time, maybe top five. But I don't. To me, I feel like Ether destroyed Jay, but he did not destroy him in the sense of he's gone forever because he's still here. But in the realm of battling, I feel like Ether destroyed Jay. But Takeover was great because he got at like I said, he got at Mobb Deep, and when you hear Infamy, something wasn't right with Prodigy during that time. And I really felt like that battle got to him. And he got at Nas really bad as well on Takeover. Dawn of the Dead said, is it on Apple Music? Is your album on Apple Music?
Yeah, Apple Music. Yep, absolutely. It's
Spotify.
Can I? Is there any way to type it in the chat for people?
The link, put the link in the chat.
All right, let me. Okay, let me do that real quick. But yeah, if you want to move on, we're on your fifth. We're on your fifth pick.
No, I'm on my. Wait, let me see. I'm on my sixth.
You just did your sixth. No, your sixth was Infamy.
No, that's my fifth. My first was Juvenile Out Hell, then Infamous Mobb Deep, then America's Nightmare, then Blood Money, and then Infamy.
Okay, you're still going. You're still going worst. I switched to best.
No. I already did the
So
worst. I did the worst, and Infamy was like the bridge to the classic stuff now.
no, I know, but just number wise.
What you mean?
Okay, so did that link just send to
Yeah.
everybody, or did that just send to
No,
you?
no. You sent me the link in private chat.
Okay. I don't know if I can send. Are you able to send that link out?
Yeah, maybe I could send it. I'll send it here.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, that's the link to his new album. Yeah, this is my
Thank
sixth
you. Thank you,
the
Track.
sixth album. Sixth album.
Okay,
Okay.
no, okay. Sorry, the confusion was just you were saying this is your sixth least favorite, and I'm saying this
No.
is your fifth.
I don't want to say like all right. We going from worst to first, but like the we
Okay.
out of the worst now with Infamy, and we going to the best stuff. That's what I mean.
Yeah, so you should be on your number 5 now. You're
Nah,
6.
that Infamy was number 5.
So then what's so then you're on
What?
4?
How many? No, how many? No. I got this. There's 4 more out this year. There's 4 more albums.
Okay.
4 more albums.
Okay. I'm on the same page as you. We're just getting
Uh,
confused with the numbers. Give me your next
okay.
album.
All right.
I'm on the same page.
The sixth album. I love this album. I think it was a great album, and to me, I would say it's top 3 of 1999. If Murder Music, Mobb Deep, classic
Mm,
album, 5 mics all around. The
mm,
production from again, Havoc was in his bag on this album, and then they brought in this is the first time the Alchemist, produced for them. They brought in Alchemist when Alchemist, he moved from the West Coast to New York. He started working with Infamous Mob, and then I believe that Prodigy had heard a beat from him that he was working on Infamous Mob and brought him into the fold, and he did the Realist with Cool G Rap. I think he did Thug Music as well, and it was great. And the thing is about this album was leaked to the streets. This is when this was like when I don't want to say the beginning of the bootleggers, because we always had bootleggers, but I remember having the bootleg to this album in '99, and it had a lot of different songs that didn't make the official release,
mm.
and they went back and they recorded new stuff, and they still gave us the classic album, and we had the first single was Quiet Storm, the Prodigy solo version, and that got so big that they did the remix with Lil' Kim, and it took off. This album went platinum. You had It's Mine with Nas, you know, so many other joints that I love on this album, man. You had Adrenaline was fire. I remember hearing that on the radio. Illustrious. You had Can't Fuck with Raekwon. You had Cormega and What's Your Poison?
I love Cormega. I love
Cormega.
Cormega, man. I
Severely
mean,
underrated. Severely
I
one of the most underrated MCs from New York City.
I love him. Man, I love him so much. He's so underrated. He's
Uh,
yeah, man. That's a conversation for another time. But just props out to Cormega because he
yeah.
is so underrated and he's so dope.
And every joint on here was fire. The features, they have a joint with Little C's. They have a joint with what's his name?
Cool G Rap.
The Realist. They had the 8 Ball joint. Where You're From. Like the whole album was fire, and yo, they were bubbling in the streets with that album. The title track was fire. Prodigy blacked out on the title track, and I loved it. And I to me, it's one of their best albums ever. Definitely in their top 5 all time. And this is what I mean. Like lyrically, when you hear Prodigy on Murder Music, he was in his bag on this album. Way better than Infamy. When you hear him, it's a different Prodigy on Murder Music and then on Infamy. He
Yep.
was way in his bag on this album, and the production from Havoc and Alchemist were great. and to me, it's a five-mile classic. And this was like their first time that they went platinum for any of their albums, and it was definitely one of my favorites.
I completely agree with you. I actually have it ranked a little bit higher, so I'm going to hold off
Okay.
on it. My favorite track is Thug Music.
Mm.
I love that track, but there's so many. There's so many tracks. That's the difference between this and just say Infamy for me, is that Infamy was like there were a bunch of good tracks. Here there were a bunch of great tracks. And you know, I'll speak on it a little bit more because I have it ranked higher. So so my next one is one that you actually had ranked pretty low, and that's the infamous Mobb Deep 2014.
Ooh, wow.
I really enjoyed this album actually. And again, you know, this is coming from someone who I'm listening to all these albums, you know, pretty much all for the first time, all in order, and just going with what I'm hearing. And with what I heard was just, it was super dope. Just super dope. I loved a lot of tracks.
So you're hearing, so you're like a newer Mobb Deep fan though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you know, we both don't have haven't said Infinite yet, so we know that it's ranked high. But yeah, for me, the infamous Mobb Deep, and there's like whenever I do rankings or anything, this is just how I feel. There's no like, oh, I'm gonna put this higher for shock value. Like, why would I do that? There's no point. Like
I know people do that though.
People do that, but no, this is just my honest truth and opinion, and that's how I'm always going to be. And you know, just because someone says, you know, oh, you know, The Blueprint's Jay-Z's best album, if that's a bad example because I think it is maybe his best album. But
he has more than one great album though. He has more than one great album.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? If someone says like this is the greatest movie of all time, I'm not going to just be like, oh yeah, it's the greatest movie. If I think it sucked, I'm going to be like, yeah, I didn't really like it.
And that's why me and Nick have our own platform where we encourage people to speak their mind. If something is whack, then it's whack. If something is classic, then it's classic.
Yeah, and what I like about discussing these things with you is that like we usually have similar opinions, but when we don't, we respect it. There's no hate. There's no hate with it. It's like we can hear each other out, and you know, there's respect there. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed the infamous 2014. I found myself enjoying basically every track on there. I know probably people don't like it because it is a different sound. It's a little bit maybe I don't know if softer is the right word, but just like not as gritty, not as hard hitting, and that's what suits me more. You know, that a little bit of that smoother style is what I prefer. So, and not to say like, oh, this was like a smooth, like super smooth album, but in terms of degrees of all their albums, it was a very nice fit for me. So this is my, man, the numbers are getting me all messed up because it's my fourth favorite, but that means it's my 2, 3, 4, 5. That means it's my sixth on the list. So it's my sixth. So it's my sixth out of 9. But it's my fourth favorite, which is, you know, probably gonna throw some people for a loop. But
that's good though. That's good.
Yeah, but that's just how I feel, and that means it's so. Just kind of going back to what I was saying before. So I had my 3 tiers. So my bottom tier was America's Nightmare, Blood Money, and Juvenile Hell. And then my middle tier is Infamy, Hell on Earth, and the infamous Mobb Deep. That's my middle 3.
Okay.
So now we're about to get to the
top,
our top 3.
3 great ones. Yes.
The three great ones.
And
Yep.
and this, I want to say, like, this album, even though I'm not shocked, but I am surprised that, it's ranked already so high for me, because I do enjoy it. I feel like it's one of the best albums of this year, and I gotta
Yep.
go with Infinite. I think Infinite is a great album. They got it done right, and I know there was people saying that, they didn't care for it because, like, a lot of the Prodigy lyrics sound like they were dragging. But Havoc, in interviews, he did say that they took certain verses from, like, other songs and to fit it with either his beats or Alchemist beats, and but they got it right, and they Mobb Deep has a ton of unreleased stuff, and that they could easily put on any album. And again, the production split between Havoc and Alchemist was phenomenal. I love the singles they came out with. Against the World was the first single, and then Taj Mahal, fire tracks. Look at Me with the Clips. You had Porter Henny with Nas, Down for Me with Georgia Smith, and then they got the other version
With
with
Nas as well.
with her. I love the whole album. I
Oh,
think the whole
yeah,
album is
yeah.
it's flawless. I think it's a masterpiece already. And to me, if that's gonna on at the end of the year, when we do our best albums of the year, that's gonna be in the top three for me. I think it's right there with the Clips album. I think it's right there with Alfredo 2. And I think for me, I'm giving it 5 mics already. And I don't do that with new albums, because I feel like you got to sit and you got to sit for a long time with these albums. And these albums take time to become classic. But there's some of the times, like when you hear an album and you're playing it every day and there's no skips, that's going to be a classic album. I feel like this album is already on its way to being a classic album. And I think it's already one of the best Mobb Deep albums of all time. So that's why I have it at number. It's in the top three for me when it comes to Mobb Deep
Yeah.
albums. Like it literally took over because I have Murder Music deal, and I felt like I'm like, yo, like, I love Murder Music, but there's something about Infinite, and maybe it's because we haven't heard like it feel like Prodigy is still alive. You know what I'm saying? It feel like he didn't go anywhere, and just the things that he was saying on there, like, it's like, yo, he's talking about shit that's happening right now. And he's no longer here, and he's been gone for a couple of years. And it's like, yo, like, it just sounds fresh, and I love it. I love the whole album. I loved how they took their time with it. They didn't rush it out, and that's what you got to do. Like, they didn't give us a bunch of rehash of verses and lyrics from him, because he recorded a lot of stuff. He wasn't like Big L. Big L didn't record a lot of stuff. So when people say they didn't like the Big L album, I already know why they don't like it. Same with Biggie. Biggie didn't record a lot of stuff. So when you hear Born Again wasn't like fresh new shit. It was like new beats, but with old lyrics that we already heard from, like, other songs. But with this album, because they have so much unused stuff, it just sounded like a brand new Mobb Deep album, and they took their time with it, and they got the right people on it. They didn't just get a whole bunch of artists. They got the right people. Nas, Big Noid. That's all you need. That's the Mobb Deep family. They could have threw in Infamous Mob, but I wasn't mad that they wasn't on it. But they got the right people to be on the Mobb Deep album, and that's why, to me, it's a classic album.
I love that. I love it. Obviously, we didn't exchange lists beforehand, but I
Right.
have it in the exact same position.
Oh.
I have it in my top three. I have it number 3. I know the numbers are getting weird, but maybe we can just go 3, 2, 1 for now, if you're cool with that. All right, cool. So we both have this as our number 3. And rightfully so. I feel like you just said it all. You just said it all. I'm in complete agreement. I love it. It's definitely one of the albums of the year for me. I listen to so many albums, and my taste is so eclectic that it's like, especially with hip hop stuff,
right?
And like I mentioned, and like my taste isn't like you like my taste is like usually way underground, like people that like nobody's ever heard of. So
right.
And I love putting people onto it too.
Yeah,
So it's gonna be fun to do our end of the year list. That's gonna be
yeah,
really fun.
for sure.
But I'm in complete agreement. This is amazing. And you know what I actually found funny?
Mhm.
So this is called Infinite. Um, Smith and Wesson came out with Infinity.
Infinity. Yeah,
Uh, there was another at least one or two albums this year that came
yeah,
out with albums that were like, oh,
cool.
Cooley
Yeah,
High. I think that was last year, but
okay.
it might have been earlier this year. They came out with Infinite, and then my album, which
Mhm.
I had named this album. Like I said, I've been working on this album for the last year and a half. So
Right,
before any of these albums came out, I had picked the name Connected Infinity. So
right.
for some reason, something was in the air
And
where
it's
there was that infinite, that infinity, and it was just in the air. And
right,
when all these people started, when all these artists started dropping these albums that were like Infinite,
right.
Infinity, I was like, man, we like. I guess we're just on the same wavelength with that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
pretty wild.
it's been a magical year for hip hop
Yeah,
all around. So I
yeah.
just it's just something aligned in the stars to have Smith and Wesson and Mobb Deep and other artists
Yeah.
just name it similar to us album title.
Yeah, yeah, the infinite, the infinity, just kind of
Mhm.
like, I think, like for me, it was more like kind of a little deeper existential, and it probably was for them too. But like, you
Right.
could take it with the music is infinite, the
Mhm.
vibration is infinite. This is all it like it's all infinite. We can get real existential with it, but we don't have to.
Right.
But but the it kind of to the core though, it's like, hey, Mobb Deep is infinite,
Yeah.
Mobb Deep
Yeah.
put their stamp and they're infinite,
Right.
and it's just so uh I think it's really cool that a lot of albums came out this year with that infinity theme.
I agree.
But yeah, I completely agree with you. Taj Mahal. Let's see, my favorite was Down for You. Uh,
Yes.
I
That's your
know
favorite
that's
track on the
probably
album? Down for you?
that. Yep.
Okay.
The original one with
Yeah.
Georgia Smith.
Yeah.
I also like the one with her.
Yeah. That was
Um,
good.
but they were both really. I mean, they're both really really good. But I
Yeah.
think I preferred the original a little bit more.
Right.
But they were both really good. I
Yeah.
love Pour the Henny. I
Mm-hmm.
love Clear Black Nights.
Fire.
That was really cool with Raekwon and
Green Ghost.
Ghostface.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. We got Look at Me with
That
Clips, Pusha
was fire.
T.
Yeah.
So nothing more needs to be said. It's an amazing
Right.
album. We're both on the same page about it.
Yeah.
I know some people didn't mess with it, and you know what?
Mhm.
People can have their own opinion. Like, there's no need to hate on it. So if you didn't like it, that's too
I,
bad. But I really enjoyed it.
and when Shaven look at me, and I'm like, yo, I wish they had did more stuff with the clips, because I mean, in the 2000s, like clips was really big with Lord Willing, Mobb Deep was out, and they were coming out with they had Infamy and they had America's Nightmare, they had the mixtape stuff when they finally became free agents, and I wish they had worked more together. I'm like that's a collab that's like long overdue, like two of the best rap duos in hip hop that they should have been working more together, but. I love the collaboration with them in the clips.
Cool, man.
You
Yeah.
know,
So we both have it number 3. So
yes.
what do you got as your number
No,
2?
number two. I just want to read this comment. Nick said that shit happens. My first album back in the early 2000s was going to be Split Personality. Then comes Cassidy. That Cassidy album was trash. I did not like that Cassidy album. It was bad. I remember my homeboy giving me the bootleg and I threw it in the trash. That's how bad it was. It was not good. But he
You know
he
my
definitely made up for it with the I'm a Hustler album. That was way better. But it's just Split Personality was not good.
All right. Guess like someone from my age. So like when I was in middle school and I got
Um,
introduced to Cassidy for the first time,
right.
was like 2000, just say 2007, 2008, 2009.
Um, um,
So what do you think the song that I got introduced to was?
Hotel.
My Drink and My Two Step.
Oh God, Jesus Christ, that was bad. I hate that song.
Dude,
Never liked it.
dude, the first rap that
Mm,
I got introduced to was
mm.
Soulja Boy Crank That.
Oh my
Okay, not
God.
that I got introduced to. Sorry, not that I got
Yeah.
introduced to, but the
Mm,
stuff that like the mainstream stuff that people would play, like they would
right.
play this at the school dances in middle
Right.
school. They'd play Crank That Soulja Boy. They'd
Mm,
play Drink and Two Step by Cassidy. Of course, hotels. I knew Hotel, and
right.
that was the better song. Obviously, my Drinking Two
Right.
Step sucks, but
Yeah.
I just think it's hilarious that that was my like first introduction. Like, and then Hurricane by
Oh God.
uh, what's his name? Or
Jeez. But
you know what I'm talking about?
you
Just
talking
like all
about
that whack stuff.
Hurricane Chris? Hurricane Chris?
Hurricane Chris, Ayo
Right.
or whatever, A Baby, A Baby.
Yeah. Trash.
That was the mainstream stuff that was going on, and it was just a
I
whack time.
remember, I remember the remix with Jadakiss was on that remix. I was like, well, Jada, what are you doing on here? How much did they have to pay you to be on that? Yo, the
Bro, it was
2000s had
like,
some bad shit.
dude, it was like if you didn't know the Soldier Boy dance, you were like considered lame.
Right. Yeah.
It was a
It's not a
it
fan.
was a bad time, dude. And
Yeah, it
that's
was.
when I
It
got
was.
into and that's when I started getting into underground rap. And
I,
then
I think I think because of shit like that is what made me go into like the rock music stuff. I'm like, yo, I can't
yeah,
listen to some of this shit. I'm like, yo, let me
yeah,
throw on some Linkin Park and some Limp Bizkit because this shit is
yeah,
way better than what
yeah,
I'm hearing from hip hop right now.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I had to
yeah.
bring that up though when you
Oh
mentioned
God, this is
Cassidy. I
like the
was like,
only time you'll ever hear a reference to Soldier Boy on this channel.
"Hey, that's it. That's it.
That's it.
We out.
There
We
there will
out.
be no Soldier Boy talk or Hurricane Chris ever on this channel ever again. We
Hey,
just
baby,
referenced it.
we
That will
out."
be it. Yeah. I probably lost like followers because of that, but you know, my my second number two for me, and I number two for me. I love this album. I think this really should have been their sophomore album, but I got to go with Hell on Earth. I think Hell on Earth is a great, dark,
hmm
gritty street album from Mobb Deep. It had
hmm
hardcore vibes, and again, this is all the production by Havoc. Havoc was in his bag at this point, and it gave us some bangs on here with God Part 3 and Hell on Earth, the title track, and Still Shining, Still Shining. They played like it was a single. I remember Flex spinning that every night, and we thought we waiting for the video, and there's no video for Still Shining, but Still Shining was a huge record. Extortion with Method Man, one of my favorite tracks. Nighttime Vultures with Raekwon, a banger. Like I said, Drop a Gem, where they go in that Tupac on that song. Man Down. Every track on here was a classic, 5 mic classic all around. To me, one of their best albums all time, and that's why it's in my top three. Prodigy was in his bag lyrically on here as well, and they killed it. Like it's like after the Infamous drops, they were like, okay, we got this shit, and they went hard with Hell on Earth, man. That's arguably I would say might be the best album of when was that, 96 that came out. I want to say 96 that came out, and bro, 96 was a phenomenal year for albums. You had
Yep,
you had the
96.
score.
Yep.
Yeah, you had the score. You had Iron Man. You had All Eyes on Me. It was written. What else came out in '96? So many classic albums came out in '96, bro. Like
Oh, I
'96 was like a
love
golden
I
year for hip
love
hop. Mad Skills dropped his first album from Where, very underrated album, classic.
ATLians.
AT Aliens, right? My favorite Outkast album, right? AT Aliens,
My favorite as
classic
well.
sophomore album.
Tupac, All Eyes on Me.
Yes,
It was written. You already mentioned.
yeah. Reasonable Doubt. Now you see at
Muddy
that time, like
Waters.
I
Muddy
wasn't I
Waters.
wasn't a huge J fan at that time. Like I knew who he was and I fuck with him, but I didn't really become a J fan till like maybe 97, 98. But Reasonable Doubt is a classic album. Muddy Waters, one of the best, one of Redman's best.
Cellar
Cellar
Dwellers,
Dwellers,
Realms of
yeah, Realms of
Reality.
Reality, classic album,
I'm going
definitely.
through because I have a list of it's gonna be sick. I'm gonna publish. I'm at like 950 right now. Once I get to 1,000, I'm gonna publish my top 1,000 albums of all
Nice.
time.
Okay.
So I'm going through that list right now, and I'm
Yeah.
just looking at 96. So those were the top ones
Yeah.
from 96. You got Razcast, Soul on Ice.
Grass Cast, Soul on Ice, classic.
De La, Stakes is High.
Stakes is High. I forgot about Stakes is High. Great album.
I think you already mentioned Jay-Z.
Yes.
Let's see. The Roots,
The
Illadelph
Roots.
Half-Life.
The Half-Life, right. 96, yeah, man. Great
Great
album.
year. Great
Great
year.
album.
Infinite,
Definitely.
Eminem.
Yes.
Exhibit, At the Speed of Life.
Great album, yep.
MC8, Death Threats.
Mm-hmm. Very slept on NC8 album.
Yeah. You mentioned the Fugees, The Score.
Yeah.
Incredible album.
Chino XL, yeah. Chino, rest in peace, Chino XL.
Yeah.
Great album,
Yeah.
man.
What legend.
They had a lot of great underground albums that hit mainstream that became well known. It was a balance in 96. 96 was a balance of great underground albums, great mainstream albums.
Yeah. So
Machiavelli came out also that year. Great album.
Yeah, great man. Looking at these albums, great year for sure.
Yeah.
So the reason why I had it ranked so much lower, I think I'll have to revisit it again. I think it was the beats because
you didn't like the beats on Hell on Earth?
I think because the beats were so like top notch on the Infamous that I felt like, and then I think I'd listened to it like back to back, maybe even on the same day, that I felt like maybe the beats were getting just kind of a little repetitive, and they were I could be wrong. I'll have to revisit it. But yeah, it didn't hit me. Like I said when I did my ranking and review on it, for me it felt like a big it felt like a step in the wrong direction after the Infamous, but I'm glad to hear that you know that for you it that it held up, you know. That's great.
You know, we know why, because it was like after hearing Juvenile Hell in 93 and then seeing like a complete change. It's almost like the Fugees, like how the Fugees had a Blend on Reality when that drops, and I didn't like that album, and they made a complete 360 with The Score, and it was like, this is the same group that dropped that first crappy album, and then with this, when you hear The Score, it was such a masterpiece. And then it was like that with Mobb Deep. It was like, yo, like they dropped Juvenile Hell, I didn't care for it, but then the Infamous comes out, and I'm like, oh shit, this is the same group, but they got a little bit older. They had help on the production, and then when Hell on Earth comes out, it was like, yo, like they were in. They knew what to do now, and it was like they were in a bag, not even in their prime yet, but it was like they just got it in '96 when this album came out, and the promotion for it was so huge. The radio stations were playing different songs from the album, so that's why we felt like when we hear Still Shining and we hear him drop a gem, I'm thinking like, yo, those are gonna be singles. But the radio just loved it that they just played it. So and it was phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? So by the time we get the album, I'm playing every song. I'm like, yo, I know this song because Flex played it and this DJ played it. You know what I'm saying? And it was just a phenomenal no skip album. And it was grittier, it was darker. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I love it.
That's you nailed it right on the head. That's why I have it ranked lower, is because it's grittier and it's darker. And for you, that's a good thing that you liked. And for me, that was you know, it's just not my
you're not a
personal
fan
taste.
of like the gritty, dark, horrorcore type.
I am, but again, the beats have to be right for me. Like because when you say that, the first thing that comes to mind when you say horrorcore is Jedi Mind Tricks and Army of the Pharaohs, and the beats from Stoop on there are just insane. And that's like if they didn't have Stoop as the producer, I probably wouldn't listen to Jedi Mind Tricks, just because
you know,
that's not my bag, you know.
But you know what though? With an album like this, because it had that horrorcore dark sound, I think if they had people like Necro or Stoop or Stu Bangers, it would still be a classic album. Because Prodigy was that great of a lyricist that he could flow to anybody's beats.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is I think since it was so gritty and so kind of harsh, particularly the lyrics, I think personally, I needed a little bit more variety and a
Right.
little bit more, ease on the
Right.
ears, especially because
Right.
like especially with my head. Like, so if I had heard this album before I had my head injury, I'm
Right.
I'm I'm sure I would like it a lot more. But
Mhm.
when it's so like you said, what were the words you said? Like gritty
Well,
and
it was it was a darker sound from Infamous.
dark.
It was darker. It was
Yes.
to me. It was more horror. It was more of a horrorcore album.
Yes. So
You know,
so
it was more
so
gritty.
I was into that stuff. So I was
Right.
really into that stuff. Like I was super into Eminem. I
Mhm.
just don't listen to that stuff that much anymore, mostly
I
because
feel
of
you.
my head.
Right.
So that's just a factor, unfortunately, that
Right.
that plays a factor into
Right.
what I enjoy and stuff. So, and by no means, like I said, by no means do I consider it a bad album. I
Right.
just um I just have it as in the middle tier rather than in the
Right.
top tier. But what was I gonna oh yeah, I was gonna ask you, so
Yeah.
what was the feeling like in like 94,
Uh-huh.
95 about Mobb Deep? Like, they dropped their debut in 93. Was it
Right.
like, all right, like I know who Mobb Deep is. We know who Mobb Deep is. We're looking
Nah,
forward to their
they
next
wasn't
album.
known yet.
Yeah.
I first heard them on they were actually on Into the Stage on Black Moon's first album. They did a
Yeah.
song
Yeah.
with Black Moon on their first album, but they
Okay.
was still that was still Drew Out Hell era, so they still sound like kids. But I
Yeah.
remember seeing them in the Source magazine, and they were talking about Peer Pressure because they had the remix for Peer Pressure that was out, and like people like the underground heads, they knew the song, but they didn't know who Mobb Deep wasn't big just yet until Shook One's Part Two comes out, and then
Yes.
when Infamous drops in '95, and they blew up with that album, and it was huge for them. So that was like really
Yeah.
their coming out
So
party.
that's what put them on the map. And
Yes, that
that's when they got put on the map. It wasn't like that came out and it kind of got slept on, and then Hell on Earth came out and
right,
everyone loved it, and then they
right.
revisited it. No, it
With
was
the
Infamous
it's a
came
little
out and people
mm,
loved it.
it's a little bit different with the Fugees, even though their first album was whack, but they did the remix for Nappy Heads, and Nappy Heads from that first album. That's when people started to check for them. So then by the time 96 come around and they dropped the score, it was like, oh shit, this is the Fugees and they have a good album. But how come they didn't do that with their first album? So you know what I'm saying? So they
Yeah.
had that
Yeah.
remix from their first album that propelled them into the score. Where Mobb Deep didn't
Okay.
have that. Like even though Peer Pressure, like they had the remix for Peer Pressure, but not everybody knew about it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So the album wasn't promoted anyway. But when they came out with Shook One's Part Two, and they saw how much people were liking it, and they were playing it in the clubs, it's not a club song. You know what I'm saying? And but the fact that they
Right.
were playing it in the clubs, and you have Video Music Box and MTV Raps, that's what really propelled them to where they at now as
Right.
legends and icons, and it was that second album that really put them over. And then they were dropping everything on that album. They were dropping fire, like every single the album cuts. You know what I'm saying?
But
They went on the
it was
tour.
an unexpected, but so what I'm gathering is it was kind of an unexpected, like all right, we know these guys, they dropped an album, but
Right.
then it wasn't like, all right, like we have this date circled, like they're
Yeah.
dropping
Nah,
their album on this date.
nobody expected that. Nah, I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
expect that until like, and I don't even remember. Like, I remember the first time seeing the video, but I didn't realize it was them because they got a little bit older. You know, they
Yeah.
had like facial hair now, so I was like, that's the same kids that did Peer Pressure, but I didn't think nothing of it. But when the album came out, and then when they were dropping Survival of the Fittest and Give Up the Goods, that's when I was like, oh, that's them. They got a fire album. Like, well, what happened with the first one? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
that's when people really started to take notice. But we didn't have the calendar circle for that album.
Okay. Cool.
You know what
Cool.
I'm saying?
That's yeah. Thanks for that insight.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So my number two
Uh-huh.
is we can kind of deduct from what I
Yeah.
haven't said yet.
Okay.
My number two is Murder Music. I
So
absolutely love this album.
yeah.
It is, like I said, I got the three tiers. This is top tier.
Yeah.
This is you know, I think you said it that it
Hmm.
was 5 mics.
Yes.
You know, just personally because Mobb Deep isn't my exact taste, I'd give it like personally, I'd give it probably 4.5 mics.
Right.
Um, just because, um, you know, just because it's not my like exact style that I love.
Right. Okay.
But for them, it is peak. It is
Right.
definitely peak Mobb Deep. Um, absolutely loved it. I mentioned Thug Music is my favorite, but let
Hmm.
me run through
That was fire.
um, some of my other favorites from this one.
That was the joint with Chinky. Chinky's on the chorus,
Mm-hmm.
and you got
Mm-hmm.
Infamous Mob on there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so many songs I love. I
Yeah.
love Street Raise Me, What You
Yes.
Poison.
Uh-huh.
We mentioned Cormega, how much
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
I'm Going Out with
Hmm.
Lil C's,
Fire.
Illustrious,
Yeah.
Adrenaline, Where You
Fire.
From, uh, all just basically the whole album.
The whole
Basically, the
album.
whole album
Yeah.
is just great. Uh,
Yes.
and then The Realist, Cool G Rap,
Yeah.
USA,
Hmm.
and then Quiet Storm.
Fire
And
Stone remix.
honestly, I like honestly, the song with Nas, "It's Mine," like was one of my least favorites on the album.
Really?
Probably because of
Wow.
the beat.
You didn't like the beat?
Um, I don't think so.
Okay.
That's usually my problem with uh tracks that I don't like with Mobb Deep.
Mm.
In the like in the albums that are in my top to middle tier, the songs
Mm.
that I don't like usually is because of the beat. Um, sometimes not, but on an album like this, I feel like they were just kind of firing on all cylinders lyrically. Um, so uh, yeah, I mean, you know, you already went over it. Murder Music, it's right up there. You know,
I'm
it's
I'm a,
right it's right up there.
I'm gonna say, like, if you're a fan of mafioso rap, they have songs that have that mafioso rap sound, like G.O.D. Part 3,
Mm-hmm.
It's Mine. Those are like Scarface inspired tracks. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And
Yeah.
I feel like unless you really fuck with mafioso rap like that, maybe you might feel like that, like, or like you didn't like it because, like, I don't know if are you a fan of like Cool G Rap and Ren Ghost and
See, like I know it's not even the same at all, but
right?
the equivalent that I'm super into is like Andre Nicotina and Mac Dre
Mm,
and like the Bay Area
right.
mafioso rap.
Yeah.
You
See.
know,
Okay.
I know it's not called mafioso, it's more like hyphy Bay Area,
Right.
but they, like, and when you think of like Mac Dre or Andre Nicotina, you probably think of like their famous songs, which are like more positive. But when you get into their discography, like especially Mac Dre, a lot of his songs are like very like you know, very deep. They're very
Right.
deep. They're very personal. They're very mafioso. He has a song called Mafioso.
Okay.
Um, that's the style that I listen to. That's just kind of like it's in my blood. I'm from the Bay, so it just kind of runs in my blood. That's what I lean towards. And it's completely different styles. Like you can't really even compare them. But I would say like that's more what I lean towards. Like if I had to choose, like, do you want to listen to
Yeah.
like, you know, Mac Dre or, you know, some or Mobb Deep, you know, I'd go with Mac Dre
And
because that's just my preference. But
mo-
yeah,
movie Impulse said, until Shook Ones 2, I didn't know Mobb Deep. Then I heard the album and I
yeah,
was in. Yeah, a lot
yeah,
of people didn't know what it was when
yep,
Juvenile Hell came out. Like
yep,
I only knew of them because I used to buy the Source magazine all the time, and I remember the Source doing a little article about peer pressure. So, and I saw them. There's a picture of them with DJ Premier in the studio when they were younger. So that's how I knew who they was. But then I didn't realize it was them when Shook Ones the Shook Ones Part 2 video came out. I'm like, oh, that's the same group that did peer pressure, but nobody was expecting the success that they had with Infamous with the Infamous album. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Um, before we get to our number one, and
uh,
obviously we know what it is.
right.
I was wondering, like, do you think at any point they thought about calling themselves the Infamous or the Infamous Mobb Deep, like as their group name?
They had a I saw the interview with Havoc recently where he talked about that. I don't think that was their first name. It was something else, and then they changed it to Mobb Deep. You
I
know,
feel like,
and mm,
yeah, I feel like maybe when they started out, like I could see them being the infamous Mobb Deep. And you know how like
right,
a lot of rappers like or groups that like he was Common Sense and then he just
common sense,
dropped it
right?
and he's Common.
Yeah, poetical
So
right.
a
They were
lot of
called
rappers.
poetical prophets. Yeah, that was their name before poetical prophets.
Oh,
That,
Political
that
Prophets.
was that was their
Okay.
name before. Yeah,
Okay.
and
That's a
he
dope
said,
name.
yeah, he said something about it was like they crew when they had a crew around them. It was like they called their crew like a mob or something, but when they made the name, it just fit them. So they kept that name or whatever.
Yeah, it's just I just thought that like maybe at some point they would have thought about naming themselves the Infamous because
Right,
they kind of call themselves the Infamous, like in a
right,
lot of their songs they
mhm,
refer to themselves as the Infamous.
right.
And
But I
so
don't
I
think they
just
were
was
doing
wondering.
that. I don't
Yeah.
think they were calling themselves that on Juvenile Hell though. I think that came after the fact.
No, no, no,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly after. But basically every album after the
hmm,
Infamous, they would, because
yeah,
I think they knew
yeah,
that that was their uh you know that was their
yeah.
what's the
That
word
that
for
was
it?
that was the official group name.
Yeah,
You know what
that's
I
their
mean?
group name. Um
Yeah. And
and
it fits them. Like, and then it's like, later they had their the offspring group, the infamous mobs, and they have infamous in their name, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, but yeah, like yeah, I knew it was something. Like they had changed their name and it just sounds better. Mob Deep. It just sounds like a better name than I don't know if they would have sold with was it poetical prophets? I don't know about that name.
yeah, I
That
like
sound
it.
like a
It's underground, yeah.
yeah, it has like more of an underground sound. I
Like
don't and I
backpack.
don't think they
Backpack.
wasn't them. They wasn't them. Their sound is very different from like, Hard Top Tain or the Cellar Dwellers or the Juggernauts. They're very different. So I think that's the name would have fit one of those groups instead of Mobb Deep, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But number one
Um
is the infamous Mobb Deep. The infamous.
yep.
This is the album that really set it off for them. And a lot of us, count this as a real album, the real first album. And
Yep.
again, like them dropping Shook Ones Part Two and Survival of the Fittest and Give Up the Goods and Drink Away the Pain
Yep.
is one of the most creative songs ever. Like just for Q-Tip's verse and he's incorporating, all of the designer brands, Tommy Hilfiger and Nautica and Helly Hansen. And that's shit that we were rocking in the 90s. And for some of us, we still rocking some of those brands now, like the Polo and Nautica and stuff. And um, the start of your ending and Trife Life, every track on here was a banger. It was classic. The production from Havoc and getting the help on the drum programming from the likes of Q-Tip and Lost Professor, it really helped him. I think it really helped him become a legendary producer now that he is. And Prodigy was in his bag lyrically on here. And like I said, it was a complete 360 from Juvenile Hell. And then when that drops in 93 and then a couple years later, in '96, we 95, we get the infamous, might be the best rap album of 1995. Right up there with Cuban Link, arguably. It could
Ooh,
be one and two. I feel like
I'm gonna look up
any of those,
95.
like remember Rolling Stone came out with a list a couple weeks ago, and they had the infamous as the best rap album of all time. I'm not mad with that. I got mad at the
Me
list
Against the
because they
World.
list. Huh?
Tupac. Me Against the
Man,
World.
that
Would you rank
hey
it
top
higher?
that was a great album. That could be top three. I feel like it's definitely gonna be top two or top three for me. You know what I'm saying? Because with
I put Tupac above it.
Cuban Link, Me Against the World, Infamous. That to me, defines 1995 when it comes to rap. I think that was like the best rap albums of that year. And there's others, but if I got to pick a top three, it's those three right there.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
looking through my list. You got The Roots. Do You Want More?
that was good. That was good.
That's up there too.
Yeah, not one
Liquid
of my
Swords.
favorites. I'm more Philadelphia Half Life and Things Fall Apart than Do You
Right.
Want More. But Want More was a good album.
Liquid Swords.
Liquid Swords, classic album. Love it. It's a lot, man. Like 95 was a great year too.
96 though, like you said,
Yeah.
96 had a lot more
I
actually.
feel like 96 was a little bit better than 95.
It definitely was.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going through my list, but yeah, I mean, oh yeah, so I had to Master Ace Sitting on Chrome.
Yeah, Sitting on Chrome. Great album.
Fire. So
yeah.
Sorry, I was looking because I had to think of the word. It was bugging me of like, because I was like, you know, they knew that it was their best work, and the word for it is their magnum opus. Like,
magnum opus.
I feel like, I feel like they knew it was their magnum opus. Like, of course, you never want to, like, as an artist, you always think that you can do better and stuff.
Right.
But I feel like they knew that was their magnum opus, and that's what they're going to be known for. And so that's why they would refer to themselves as the Infamous, because they knew that's what they were known for, was the Infamous.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah. I mean, when you're getting you know, help from Q-Tip and Lost Professor, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. So,
you know,
obviously, I have it as my number one as well. We both have it as our number ones.
Yeah.
No real surprise there. You know,
you had more surprises on your list than I did, though. You had more, when people watch this back, I know they're gonna be saying, "How the fuck does he have Hell on Earth low compared to the Blood Money and the infamous Mobb Deep album?"
Yeah, I had Blood Money low. Low. I think that's the only one that's going to throw people, is that I had Hell on Earth in my
that threw me for a loop, because I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, that it was kind of like, but I mean, I'm happy with my list. I mean, my list is my list. You know, I'm happy with it.
Yes, I respect that.
I'm happy with your list.
I always like, I told people, I'm like, I love the fact that people have their own opinions and they're not afraid to voice their own opinions. But tell me why you didn't like it. Don't just say, "Oh, it was a whack album." Tell me why it was a whack album.
Yeah. And I keep reiterating, I don't think it was bad at all. I just think it was good. And again, for the reasons I said, I think if my head was 100%, things would be different. I think because I listened to it back to back with the Infamous. The Infamous is, I'm gonna keep using that word because I looked it up, so I can. It's their magnum opus. It's their best work. The beats are just insane. The beats are classics. The rhymes are classics. That like, I hate when people throw around the word classics, like, but this is a classic. It's a classic because if you, this is actually a kind of a good debate. Is an album a classic if it has like 3 or more classic songs on it? I would say, unless all the rest are duds, I would say probably because it's hard to have 3 classic songs on one album, and they did that. I'm
gonna tell you. See, there's 2 different ways you could look at it, because I'm like, I've heard albums where the album is crap, but they pick the right singles, right?
Right.
I've had I had a homie hit me up before, and he was telling me about when it came to Ready to Die. You know, there was like 1 or 2 songs he didn't like on Ready to Die, and he didn't really feel like it was a classic. I'm like, you don't feel like Ready to Die was a classic? Even if you didn't like Friend of Mine, or you didn't like Respect, I still feel like that album was a Five My classic all around. You know what I'm saying? But when it like, if it's an album that has like Eminem's Encore, like I got Encore, I never liked Encore. I thought there was like maybe 9 good songs on there, but there's people that love Encore. I don't feel like it was a great album though. Especially if you got 20 songs and there's only like 9 songs out of 20 that's not even half the album for me.
That's my point. That's my point, and that's actually my point with. Did you say Ready to Die or Life After Death?
Ready to Die. Ready to Die.
Okay, Ready to Die. Okay, because
Yeah.
I was gonna say Life After Death. You know what? Life After Death and Ready to Die are both, I would say, classics.
Yeah.
They're both like, and again, I hate. I actually, I'm gonna take that back. I I don't like throwing that word around lightly. So,
Mhm.
I would say Ready to Die is a classic because uh there are just so many songs on it, but Life After Death is also the same. So you know what? Maybe I will call both of
I don't.
them classics.
I don't. Like the thing is like I don't think one song will ruin a whole album. You know what I'm saying? I don't. It only starts to ruin the album if it's like 4 or 5 songs, and then people are calling it classic. I'm like, well, how much of it is a classic if there's like 4 or 5 songs that's not really good on that album? It can't be
Oh,
a five-night classic.
that's my argument with Outcast Stankonia, because they got So Fresh So Clean.
Uh,
They got uh is that's Bombs Over Baghdad as
yeah,
well on
Bonzo
that one?
Baghdad. That was the first single. Yeah.
Yeah, so they got they have like, see this is a
Uh,
good debate because
uh,
they have maybe 4 or 5 classic tracks on there,
mm,
but the album is like 24 songs, and
mm,
I don't listen to probably 18 of those songs. So
right.
I can't consider it a classic album.
That is my issue with Encore. And Eminem was on drugs at that time.
Mm,
He had issues with the label. He supposedly there's another version of Encore that he wanted to bring out, but the label said no or whatever. I want to hear his version of Encore, the way it was intended. But the one that came out, I didn't play it often. I have some songs that I like. Like I love for Evil Deeds, Toy Soldier, songs like that. But the rest of the album, I could just skip it. It could have just been an EP for me. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's like
really?
if you have 20 songs and it's only like 9 songs that the listener likes, that's not a classic album. That's not half the
I
album.
love I love Encore. I love
Bro, shout out to Jerry. Jerry loves Encore. That's one of his favorites. I don't like Encore. I never liked Encore. I have it,
I love
but I don't
Crazy
like
in Love. I love Crazy in
that.
Love.
Crazy
I
in Love was dope.
love I love Mockingbird.
Mockingbird was
Uh
fine. That was dope.
I love Puke, even though I hate that the
I don't
beginning you
like that
actually
song.
hear someone puking.
That
Well,
song
that
had the right title. I do not like that song at all. It was Puke.
I hate the beginning, but that's
Um,
it. The song I like the song itself. Um uh but yeah, like
this is the first
the
time I'm hearing people say they don't like Ready to Die. I've never heard nobody say this before. Nick is the
people are
second
saying
person I
that.
heard say that they don't like Ready to Die.
I can't see the comments, so you got to read them to me.
Yeah, he's saying I feel Life After Death was a classic, not so much the first album. I've never heard nobody say Ready to Die was
Hmm.
not good until recently.
Mm, mm.
He said a classic to
Um,
me is an album that there isn't more than 3 skippable tracks. P.S. I'm not a fan of Encore either. Yeah, I didn't
that's
care for Encore.
fair. That's fair. I
I
think
agree.
there
I
are a
agree.
lot of albums. I think there are a lot of albums, and I think my personal best example of that is Stankonia because
Mhm.
it's got So Fresh So Clean, it's got Miss Jackson, it's got
Right.
Bombs Over Baghdad, it's got Humble Mumble, but then it's it's a 24 track album, and I skip like at least 12 of the tracks.
Wow.
So that I can't consider that a classic album in my opinion, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Even though I
I,
love those songs are some of the best songs, some of the best
I,
hip hop
I'm gonna
songs
tell you,
of all time.
like an album anniversary that's today. Redman, There's a Dark Side. I've never liked that album, and I got it. There's
Mm,
only a couple of songs on that, and that album was 20 songs too, if you count the Tonight's the Night remix. But
yeah,
the latter half of that album, I did not like. But people like songs like Basically and
right.
When I Come Around, I thought was garbage. And people love that album, and
Yeah.
they say it's a classic. I'm like, y'all are crazy. Cause I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, to me, what's that album? Fuck, I'm forgetting the name of that album.
Who's the artist?
Uh, Redman. His '98 album
Mm,
was better to me. Forgot the name of that.
I'll look it
The,
up.
the, the '98 album was better to me. Like I like some songs. I like Rockefeller. The remix to me, I like the Rockefeller remix. Can't Wait. Green Island, Cosmic Slop. But the latter half, he
Are you
could have
talking about
scrapped that shit.
Blackout or Doc's the Name?
That's the name, right? That's the name.
Okay.
2000. That to me is a way better album than There's a Dark Side. I never cared for his song, and he don't even like that album. He's been in interviews where he said, he was going through a lot of stuff. I think he had a friend that died or whatever. He didn't like that album. He was on drugs. That album was trash, and people love that album. I'm like, y'all are crazy if you think that's better than Doctor Name. Doctor Name was fire. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's how I feel
He's
about an album like that, where it's like it's 20 tracks and it might be like 9 or 10 tracks that I like. I'm like, yo, he could have scrapped the other shit.
I think that's the problem with a lot of albums that people consider classics is
Yeah.
that they're just too long, and
But see, we came from that era when, especially like artists like Redman, all his albums were like 20 tracks plus. His first album was like 22 tracks. The second one is 20 tracks. Muddy Waters were like 23 tracks or something like that. Like we came from that era of long player albums. That's what's missing now. You got people like
I love long play albums.
Yeah.
I also, I mean, obviously I'm not a I don't even know what they're called now. What Gen Z? I'm not a Gen Z. I'm technically a millennial.
A millennial, right?
Yeah, I'm technically a millennial. So,
right.
But I'm not I wouldn't consider myself a typical millennial. I would consider myself a little bit like I like the older stuff. The way I think and the way that I like my music is more old school. So, but if you think about I grew up on I was like how I asked you, were you there for the evolution of Mobb Deep? You said, yeah. I was there for the evolution of Mobb Deep. For me, I was there for the evolution, I guess, who would you consider was your top artist, during that era? Probably Nas, right?
It was not Nas, Tupac,
right.
Jay, Method Man.
So for me, it was Kanye and Kendrick, right?
Right.
That was that they dropped, Kanye dropped his debut, and that was the first album I ever bought when I was 10 years old. And and how many songs was that? That was what, 20? That was 20 tracks.
It was like 20 something, yeah.
And then Late Registration, same thing.
Yeah.
Boom, 20 tracks. And then it wasn't until his third album that he went down to maybe 12, 13 tracks.
Yeah.
But those first two, and then also Kendrick's first two albums, I think 15, 16 tracks. Good Kid, Mad City, 16, 18 tracks. So and solid all the way through. So that's just a couple examples. But now you don't see that. You don't see that anymore. No one's dropping 20 track albums anymore.
But what is this whole
artist?
The misconception I don't like is, I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, they're not dropping long play albums no more because this era is they have a short attention span." That don't speak to us. Maybe you want to say that about the kids now. That's one thing, but don't lump up the adults and say that.
It's all about money and sales and TikTok. What's gonna be the TikTok song? What's gonna it sucks. Just the way this world is changing and the way the music industry is changing is very frustrating. But I am very grateful and happy that there are artists who stay true to themselves, the art form. Atmosphere is one of them. There's a lot. There's a whole lot of artists who stay true to themselves and stay true to the art form. But then again, there's a lot of artists who don't. They've switched up and they're like, you know what? I hear it all the time. Hey, if you want to be heard, you can't have a song that's over 3 minutes. I'm like, can't have a song that's over 3 minutes. what are you talking about? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just kind of the way. That's just kind of the way it is. It sucks. Yeah, people are addicted to doom scrolling and just like attention spans are like 10 seconds long. But
Yeah.
that's not who this music is for. We still want that solid hour. You know, it doesn't have to
Right.
be an hour. It can be 40 minutes. It can be 40
Right.
minutes. But if it's fire, hour and a half, give us that fire hour and a half long
Right.
album.
Movie
So
info said I'm in my 40s and albums were different. Now it's quick 2 to 3 minute songs, mostly just a hook, and that's it. I miss older hip hop. Yeah, like, and we're
yeah,
seeing it with projects like with Primo doing the Rock Marcy album was like what, 7 tracks, the Ransom album 7 tracks. I don't like short projects like that because to me, like from
yeah,
my era, it's looked at as an EP. It's not an album to me. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? That's more of a that's I look at that like an EP or short, appetizer to something bigger, right?
yep,
But it's like when I see albums like Evidence had a great album this year, and it was a long
yeah.
play. It wasn't 10 songs. He had like 15, 16 songs on that album.
Yeah, yeah, and that's you know, um, that's what I wanted to do personally. Was I wanted to do something in the middle ground, so I did
Mm, right.
12 tracks. All the songs average about 3 to 3.5 minutes. So
Okay.
I felt like that's a good
Yeah.
even ground, and um, you know, at least for myself personally.
Right.
If an album is 16 tracks, I'm
Mm,
excited for it. You know,
right. Yeah.
when I see an album that's like one of my favorite artists now,
Mm,
and probably my favorite female artist is Shay Noir, but
she
she
dope.
only drops like 8 track albums. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but am I pronouncing that right? Shay
Yeah.
Noir.
Shane. Yeah.
Yeah, Shay Noir. She's probably my favorite female rapper
Mm,
at the moment,
right.
and she's so dope. But
Yeah.
every time that she drops something, it's like 8 tracks, 20 to 25 minutes, and I'm just
Right.
like, man, I want more.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
you know, it's the way of the industry right now. So unless you're just gonna stay true to yourself and like just kind of the underground and what you grew up on, then you know, that's what we can hope for. And that's I am really grateful and happy that there are a lot of artists that are staying true to that, because
Yeah.
you know,
See,
there
see, like
are.
like Redman. Redman took a long time to drop Muddy Waters too, and he gave us like 32 tracks. That and it
Mm,
was phenomenal. It wasn't like no filler. At least for me, I felt like every track was fire. He took his time with the project, and even the skits were funny. That's what I always love about Redman. His skits were always funny. It was entertaining. He didn't bore us with like a 20 track album. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these artists now in this era, they can't drop a great 20 track album.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Exactly, because they're looking for that one hit. Like,
Yeah,
they're looking for that one hit that's going to be the radio play, that's going to be the TikTok play, and
right.
then like that's not what it's about, you know? I
Yeah,
mean, unless that's your motive, which,
right.
you know, unfortunately it is for some people. But you
Yeah,
know, obviously we're still like, hey, give us that 16 track album
right,
that you put your passion into every single song,
right. Yep.
you know.
And all right, so we finished our Mobb Deep ranking album ranking list. Let's go through it from worst to first. For me, I had
Let's do it.
at number 9, I had Juvenile Hell, their debut album. Number 8, I had the infamous Mobb Deep from 2014. Did he call it the infamous? It's the infamous, right? Or is it just the infamous Mobb Deep?
The infamous Mobb Deep.
The infamous Mobb Deep. That was from 20. That's real confusing because their second album was called the Infamous, and this is the Infamous too. The infamous
Yeah.
2014. That was my number 8. Number 7, I had America's Nightmare. Um, number s- number 6, I had Blood Money. Number 5, I had Infamy. This is where we start to get into the great stuff. Number 4, I had Murder Music, and Murder Music was always in my top 3 Mobb Deep albums, but because I had number 3 was Infinite, I moved Murder Music down to number 4. Infinite is one of the best albums of the year. Number 2 was Hell on Earth for me, and of course, number 1, the infamous Mobb Deep.
Awesome. So we agreed on our lists are very similar. There's basically 2 albums that are switched. So my number 9 is America's Nightmare. My number 8 is Blood Money.
Mm-hmm.
My number 7 is Juvenile Hell.
Mm-hmm.
My number 6 is Infamy.
Mm-hmm.
My number 5, hold your ears, it's Hell on Earth.
Oh my God, I can't believe that.
My number 4 is the infamous Mobb Deep.
Mm.
My number 3 is Infinite.
Mm.
My number 2 is Murder Music. And my number 1 is the magnum opus, The Infamous.
Great list.
And yeah, man, this was a lot of fun. I wanted to also say for the Infamous, I did a freestyle event, class, whatever you want to call it, in San Francisco when I was living out there, and it featured Equipto, Unlearn the World, this guy named Larry Dorsey, he ran it. Some other cool people from the area, Frack, came in, but it was really cool. And one of the things that we did for it was we had to pick an iconic instrumental and write our own song to it. And I chose Give Up the Goods.
Nice.
And I chose Give Up the Goods, and I wrote this sick track that just took on a whole new meaning. And that was one of the first tracks that I had ever written, because this was maybe 15 years ago or something like that. So I actually recorded it, and I have it posted on my SoundCloud.
No doubt.
Give Up the Goods is one of my favorite instrumentals. Obviously, everyone knows Shook Ones. It's probably, top 5 most iconic beats of all time.
Definitely.
But Give Up the Goods is right up there with it for me. And so many other tracks. Just the whole album is incredible.
Definitely. Yeah, this was a great episode. I love doing these rankings. From time to time, we're definitely gonna come back and do different rankings. We've done a couple already. Mac Miller ranking that's on the channel. We did that on IG a couple of months ago. That was great. That was a whole tribute from Mac Miller. His 7-year anniversary. But we definitely gonna do some more rankings and shout out to everybody that came through. Don't forget Friday nights 9 p.m. Check us out over on Nick's channel, Unfuckable Opinions, the new podcast with me and Nick. And we gonna just speak our minds on anything, and you're welcome to join us. And we're gonna have a lot of other guests coming on, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a great show already.
What time? What time on Fridays?
9 p.m. Friday nights, 9 p.m. East Coast.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so that'll be what, 6 for you?
Yep, 6 p.m.
Okay.
for me.
Yeah, no doubt. And you got
I'll join in for sure.
Yeah, you got your new album dropping. Check it out.
It's out.
It's out already. Apple Music, Spotify. Check it out. Mojo Flows. Thank you. Definitely, we're gonna be back. Look out. I might drop another video tomorrow. Look out for that. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know your favorite top 3 Mobb Deep albums of all time. And we out.
Thank you, Try.
No doubt.
Peace.